intern at Eagles Eye View Wellness Center, as well as Gali Gigi Tonye Briggs, a dance, fitness, and health coach, choreography, and a global South arts and health influence. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Good day to everyone. So we're really excited to be able to present to you. I'm going to quickly share my screen. Okay. Can you see my purple? And bear with me, you all. Okay, and are you able to see the presentation? Okay, I'm going to keep going, and then Sane, feel free to hop in. But again, thank you so much for having me. I am Garly Gigi Tanya Briggs, and Sane is also here. We're going to share more about what we have done for culture exchange between South Africa and the United States. And this culture exchange is entitled Synergy. So before we get started, we're in for a good session today. So I wanted to go through the session flow just for everyone to just be aware of how we're going to connect with the culture exchange and the activity today. So we'll start with, of course, the introduction of me and Sane. Then we'll go into more about Synergy itself, the background of it, how did it start, how did we start collaborating, and then highlighting some of the collaborative work that we have done with the youth in our various locations, as well as in clinical recovery space. And then we have a very good treat at the end. Everyone will be able to get an opportunity to have a hands-on experience with the Synergy workshop that we were able to do this year. So as the lovely Queen had mentioned, so I am Garly Gigi Tanya Briggs. I am the founder and CEO of multiple companies, but Gigi Tanya Arts and Fitness is one of my longest running ones, up to 8 years. And we're basically focused on using movement arts and health and wellness to impact the lives of community members in Chicago, USA, and beyond, and now globally. My background is in healthcare administration, so I do have a master's in healthcare administration, but also I am a professional dancer and choreographer and a fitness trainer and health and wellness coach. I just love to bring wellness to all people through moving their bodies in whatever way that is. And then Sane, if you want to give a brief introduction, you can at this time.
Yes, absolutely, Gigi. So my name is Sane Dlamini. I am a curator, a tutor, a drama therapist in training, basically all things drama, entertainment, and performance. But I really like the therapeutic side of it all, which is why I started my company, Kalipa Arts, where we merge the two, basically the art space and some therapeutic interventions as well. I've worked with youth in different spaces, in the educational space, also in the community space. But now I'm currently working in a recovery center, and I really enjoy that. And we work with mental wellness and recovery, and it's what I'm passionate about at the moment. But basically, I love the power of the arts to be able to ignite something in someone and help them to move forward in ways that they never imagined possible. And it's a privilege to be able to do this work.
Yes, and you'll see how Sane and I were able to create synergy with the work that we do, even though we're in 2 different continents right now. So stay tuned, you'll learn more. Okay, so about synergy. So how did we get started? So I'll give a brief summary, and then Sane, feel free to take it from there. So how did we start? Me and Sane are part of the Envoy group of Global South and Arts and Health. And I was able to see her present about some of the work she would do with youth, and her mission of why she was doing it, and the impact was around, you know, community safety for them, also esteem building, and just showing them ways to have a creative outlet through that of, you know, drama techniques and writing and music. And so it aligned with exactly what my youth group does through my organization, where it is a creative outlet through dance and movement to promote public safety for them and violence prevention, suicide prevention, and other means to help them connect with their inner self and their artistry as a great outlet. But yeah, Sunny, feel free to take it from there, more about kind of like how this start kind of evolved and how the synergy was implemented.
Yes, so thankfully through Gigi, we had the opportunity to facilitate some wonderful sessions with her youth from Dance for Our Lives in Chicago. It was so interesting to be able to do the same kind of work that I do here in South Africa, but with a completely different set of teenagers. And you find, though, that the countries, though they far apart, many of the issues are the same. The community face many similar things like crime and violence and, you know, teenagers having to leave school early through being pregnant and all sorts of different things that the youth struggle with today. And so it was lovely to create something that is really about finding your own identity in a community that perhaps isn't structured to shape that for you very well. And so you find that sometimes the youth will mimic what they see on TV or what they see celebrities doing. And it's very hard to be able to find who they are at the moment. And so that's what the workshop was about, discovering who you really are, what your interests are, and what can drive you for your future. So that was extremely interesting. The youth was funny. They were exciting to work with. They had tons of questions. And what was so interesting is that they knew a lot of South African music as well. So we could bring that into the mix. And her youth does a lot of dance and movement. So once we brought the movement element after the spoken word element, they lit up and they were able to combine the two seamlessly. And we thought, wow, this is going really well. Can we try it in person? Which is what gave birth now to moving from the online space into doing the in-person work in South Africa.
Yes. And so as Sane mentioned, and you'll see more of how that highlight went with us working with each of our groups, whether it was virtually or in a hybrid setting or in person. And then some of the other ways we implemented it was indeed, as Sane said, taking it from just the hybrid virtual to actually doing a session in person with her South Africa youth as well. And also taking some of the movement wellness methodology that I do to the clinical recovery facility, Eagles View. All right. So this is a great highlight of, I call them my big babies, because they are. But no, they, some of my teens I work with over, I will say over the span of the couple of years, it's been over 500 teens that I've had the blessing to work with and encounter around movement and dance and having those creative outlets. And so Sane, as you can see, we had a workshop at one of our studios in Chicago, USA, and she was able to be online, her and Lebo Gang representing Kalipa Arts, and conduct a hybrid workshop with the youth. And they were able to explore the synergy framework, but then also incorporating the movement and dance with what they learned from Sunday and Lebo Gang. So it was a good time. And I don't know if the sound will play, but just to kind of see them in action was a big treat indeed. So yeah, as you can see, they have a picture with Sane and Lebo Gang in the screen. All right. So if it doesn't play, it's totally fine. We'll go to the next thing. Okay. And so, yeah, I was going to say, Sane, you can touch on what more sparked you to want to have me facilitate with you the Synergy workshop in person, and overall what you were able to witness from just having that in-person interaction with the Johannesburg teens.
Yes, so after interacting with the youth from Chicago, I thought, wow, Gigi has to meet the youth from Johannesburg. She has to see the energy that they have, the interests that they have, and also bring some of her expertise as well. So I brought her to this group at Windy Brow Theatre, which they really deal with all sorts of artistic work. They do plays, Some of them sing, some of them dance. And I thought this is a lovely opportunity to do the synergy workshop in person. And so she came to South Africa and we started. Some of them were straight from school. You know, they came in their school uniform, but they brought their all. And it was after a long day. And I was still always amazed by the energy that they bring and the life that they bring. Teenagers have such a spark about them that sometimes we forget as we grow older that the little things in life can become so exciting. So for them, it was like, oh, yay, Sane is here, but wow, who's this person and what does she do? And so we started with some games just to get them involved and to land in the space. And then we went on to the spoken word element. And in this element, it was more about their hopes and dreams for the future. So we really focused on what do you want to become? We know what you are now, we know what you're going through now, but what do you see yourself as in the coming future? And then we did some poetry work around that. And they wrote short poems and collaborated in groups, as you can see in the screen there. They really loved it and got into it. And then that took a while, about half an hour for them to come together and do that. But once they had, then Gigi was able to introduce the movement element with the principles of movement. And by the end, we had a combination of the two. So being able to do your poetry, but incorporate it and interpret it and embody it through the movement. And then Gigi, I think you can speak to the movement part of it.
Yeah, and so they were, of course, they were just so eager, and I loved it so much because they already had so much openness and just very curious. They were open to just trying new things. And so when they did the poetry and they got to present, you know, their what they created together, because they did separate groups. I took them through a workshop series of just like a regular warm-up, kind of getting their bodies ready for what they were going to encounter and the second part of the workshop. And then I took them through a creative movement. And so building on contact improvisation, contemporary improvisation through that of creative dance and the elements of dance. And so they learned the 5 elements of dance, which I'm going to speak more about later on in this session. And they were able to do across the floor. So if anyone is a dancer or has done a class where they incorporate across the floor, it was an opportunity for them to be able to explore through their bodies those different elements of dance in different ways. And so they remembered the terminology so good. They remembered it and they were able to emote it through their bodies. And then once we did the practice and the technique and exploration, then they went back to their poems that they created. And so they were given another level of a task to implement the elements of dance in the poems that they created and be able to visually add on more to the interpretive dance that they were doing, to the poetry they collectively done. And let me just say, hopefully the video does play, but if it doesn't, I'm happy to share the information with anyone that would like to see the videos after this. They were able to knock both parts out of the park, and it was just beautiful to see the beautiful evolution of their own artistic pieces together.
Yes, and I wanted to add, Gigi, that a lovely element that came about is that they were able to do some of their poetry in Vernac. And as you know, in Africa, we have a lot of praise poetry. And so they were able to do that, which was very interesting from the American group. And they were able to incorporate that in various African languages. And you found that they really came alive when they were able to express themselves in their own home language.
All right, so this next slide is just highlighting some of the videos of everything. There's a couple of videos on here. So as I mentioned, if it doesn't play, we will be able to provide this Kunle to whoever would ask through the contacts for this event. But there's basically these videos to explain, and since it's not playing at the moment, these particular videos show Sane in action with the group explaining the spoken word and poetry group activity, and them kind of workshopping with each other. So we got to capture video footage of them actually in groups, really thinking through getting each other engaged. So it was really great to see that amount of teamwork and also natural leadership be expressed and demonstrated through those breakout groups in a very natural and positive way. And then for me, as you can see my face there, I was just excited that they were just dancing everywhere. So I had the camera going around at each group and just seeing how they were creating their elements of dance choreography to their poetry. All right, and so now we're going to highlight in this Synergy project the work that I was able to do in collaboration with Sane's organization. As she works for the clinical recovery facility Gsahw. And so as you can see, this facility right off the back is absolutely beautiful. It is on like a mountain and it's great. I love it. There's like a beautiful cotton tree. It's so beautiful and serene. The environment just emotes peace and tranquility for all that come to this location. And then Sane, absolutely feel free at this time to just share more of just what sparked you to have me be involved with the individuals at this particular location as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I thought about would synergy work in the clinical space? We know that it works in community environments. So this was a bit of an experiment for us. And thankfully, we got the opportunity to do it. Because when people are in recovery, they're dealing with a lot of things. Some lose their fine motor skills. Some have to relearn how to do basic things. And I thought, okay, Gigi is pretty versatile when it comes to movement, and they don't get to move a lot in a way that is freestyled and fun and less structured. So I thought, okay, let's try this. Let her come, let her do some of her sets that she does, and see how the clients actually respond to it. And they really loved it. They got into it so much. At first, there was a bit of hesitation, like, what is happening? I don't know how to dance. How am I going to do this? But she was able to go through so many different versatile sets that there was something for everybody. There was something for someone who could just tap, and click and enjoy the atmosphere. And then for the rigorous movers, they were able to also do some of their own stuff as well. And they were so excited. They kept asking, when is she coming again? When are we going to move again? So for me, it was really powerful to see the trajectory from when they were skeptical and standoffish and a bit withdrawn to, oh, look at me. I can actually do this. And it's wonderful how movement brings about a sense of competence, especially when someone's in the clinical space where things are routine and very structured, and it feels like you're doing what you have to do to get better. And then now there was something that they didn't necessarily have to do. It wasn't compulsory, but they came and they lent themselves to it and they had fun. And it was wonderful for me to witness them in that space and what it did for them with each other, because when we get to move and dance and sing, it's wonderful how the bonding just organically happens. And so I thought it was a very nice workshop for them to get to bond with each other and to also get to move their bodies in ways that they typically not used to, and maybe explore different sides of themselves that they didn't know before.
Yes, and I wanted to add that it was just it was great for them to build that camaraderie with each other, just having human connection. And I think there's just another layer of human connection through movement, of course, because our own body language speaks. And I feel like dance is a part of our body language, and dance is not only rhythmic, it's whatever your body feels to emote, whether it's impromptu or whether it is calculated. And so I was very excited to just see that level of camaraderie build with everyone in their own rhythm, what spoke to them. And also my thought process was, which is always how I teach my team and I, is creating something where it's modified for everyone. So everyone can have that level of accessibility to even the movement itself, because oftentimes people can feel intimidated. People could feel like this is not cut out for me, or they can feel like, oh, I don't think this is my thing. I have two left feet. I always hear that every single time I do a session. But I always say that, we have these beautiful, gifted, God-given bodies to be able to express and move. And so it doesn't matter if you're on beat or off beat. I think that it just matters that you're moving. And we all know that science has time and time again proven that the significance of movement for mental health, for physical health, spiritual health, and all that in between is a very key part in being able to have a sustainable life. And that's a big part of what I share. And so I was very grateful that I was able to go there, and I was able to go twice. And so in that time that I was there that week, and they just soaked everything in. And so we did everything from more rhythmic type of dance to just like a follow along. Let's just jam out. Let's just move our bodies. Let's stretch. Let's do some breathing exercises. And it was really great. And everyone was very much eager to have me back the following week. So, and by God's grace, if I'm able to get there, I'll definitely love to be there again. May I add that it was intergenerational. So there were various types of people, ages, ethnicities, backgrounds that came in the space and was open and connected. And it was so positive. It was such a great sharing space. We did like this circle cipher. So if anyone has seen like some, tribal dance, some tribal dances, and even like some US dances and hip hop, they have like these circles where people come in the center and they dance, and sometimes they switch out with each other. Sometimes they dance with each other. So we got to create those moments. And that was just a great energy moment as well, creating that circle, which I, with my background as Nigerian American, my family has definitely had that. My great grandmother was a tribal dancer too. So she was one of the center highlights every time our compound would come together. So being able to express that other layer of cultural exchange in that way was beautiful to see.
Absolutely, Gigi. And we also have those circles here in South Africa. We call them iskokela. And everyone comes and there's someone in the center doing their thing, and they really love it. And I love the power of a circle, how it symbolizes unity and a sense of being unbroken because we're all safe and contained within the circle. So I loved how that worked for them so well. Thank you.
Yes. All right. So now we get into the funner part. Yeah. So now we're getting into a sample activity. Okay. So this is a beautiful time to get connected with your own spoken word and writing, and also your movement with your body. And we're going to take it step by step. So we'll start out with the actual spoken word activity is going to be very, very, very simplified, just to give you enough to get a hands-on sample of the work that we were able to do with those virtually and in person. But also you can take this away and apply it to your own practice. And the same for the exploration of the elements of dance. Of course, this means if you're going to sit, you're going to move if you would like. And then if you stand, you're going to move if you would like. But you'll be able to explore a sample of that as well. We're not going to get too much where you got to get a whole fire hydrant of water to douse yourself. Okay. We're not going to go into that intensity, but we will do some things to just explore two elements of dance and some of the spoken word principles as well. Okay. All right. Sane, you can kick it off with the poetry spoken word activity first.
Okay, fantastic. So I really hope you guys have something to write on, be it just a pen or paper or a notepad or anything like that. You can even type this. We're just going to do a short poem. Usually this would be done in groups, but it's okay. You can do it individually from home. And I'd like you guys to we're just going to explore some role or character traits that we might have as individuals. So I'd like you to write on that piece of paper or on that device, whatever roles that you see in your life being played out or that you feel are ringing true for you as a person. Perhaps you're a nurturer. Perhaps you're a leader. Perhaps you're a great organizer. Or even a helper. I mean, us in the helping professions, we do it for a very specific reason. Perhaps you're a helper and that's your greatest role and trait. Perhaps you are a very loyal friend. Loyalty is very hard to find these days. So whatever role or traits that you feel really describe you extremely well, perhaps you're the creative. You're the person who comes up with all the ideas and everyone comes to you for innovative things. Perhaps you're the observer. So you don't say much, but you really learn through observation and are able to take a lot of from your environment, from the things that you are able to observe. So all those different roles, leader, creative, observer, nurturer, helper, perhaps anything that I've said that also hasn't come to mind for me, but is part of who you are, please add it. If you want to add it in your own language, that's fine as well. I'd like you to make this exercise your own. And I'm just going to give you about a minute or so to think of those roles, write them down. Doesn't have to be a very, very long list, maybe 5 or 6 different roles that you have, and we'll take it from there. So, yeah, let's do that for about a minute. And we have 30 more seconds to go. Wow, I see people are also interacting in the chat. This is wonderful. I'd like to encourage us to be wrapping up a little. Okay. Okay, so I hope we all have our roles written down. And then I'd like us to explore this a bit further by writing a very short poem, perhaps 5 or 6 lines. It doesn't have to be lengthy. And this poem is about your relationship to one of these roles. So I'd like you to pick 1, 2 max to not overcomplicate things. I know you wrote a couple, but from those set of roles that you've written, 1 role or 2 roles that stand out for you the most, that you say, in a nutshell, this is me. Wake me up at 2 o'clock in the morning, this is the person that I am. And then I'd like you to write a very short poem about your relationship to that role. So feel free to add things like your feelings, your thoughts, your opinions, perhaps things that other people have observed and told you about yourself when you are in that role. And just write in a few lines anything that you can creatively put down that rings true and authentic about your relationship to that role, or maximum 2 roles. And we'll give this a little longer, maybe about 3 minutes, so that we can really think through it.
Is the music okay, Sunny, in the background?
Yeah, does it sound okay your side?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let's give it a few more seconds to be wrapping up our poetry. Yeah, just under a minute and then we'll wrap up the segment. I see some lovely poems coming in from the chat as well. Great stuff. Wonderful. Okay, I think everyone is finishing up. And so I'm gonna close off this part of the workshop for now. And then hold on to your poems and your writings. You'll need them for later. But for now, I'd like for Gigi to just continue with the second part that involves movement.
All right. Okay, you all bear with me. I am gonna rotate my camera so you can see me, my full body, because I gotta get up. All right, you all can still see me okay? I know my screen is a little truncated, but can you still see me? And then Sani, I'm not able to see the chat, so just let me know if people are saying they can't. That'll be very helpful for me.
I can't see you from my side. I'm still seeing the presentation.
Okay.
I'm not seeing you.
Let's see. I'm gonna stop sharing for this part and then I'll reshare. How's that? Okay.
Oh, now I can see you.
Okay, there we go. All right. Can you still see me now, even with the background? Okay. All right, you all. So we're gonna get into the second part of the Synergy sample workshop for you all. So do not let go of the poems, the beautiful, lovely poems that you just crafted for yourself. We're gonna tie it all in together. So this next part, as it was shown, is gonna go through some of the basic elements of dance. So this is the part where you get to explore and emote from your own creativity, your own thoughts, from what you expressed about yourself in your poem through your body. Okay, so we're gonna go through some basic exploration techniques first with the elements of dance. I'm not gonna go through all of them. I just chose 3 for the sake of time. And so I do invite you, if you would like, you're welcome to stand up if you would like, or you can do this seated in a chair or sitting down. You can even do this on the floor if you're comfortable on the floor. But we're just gonna explore the 3 techniques or the terms of elements of dance. There are a total of 5, but we're gonna shorten it to 3 for the sake of time today. All right, and then of course, if you are off camera, but you would love to be on camera for this part, you're welcome to come on camera. But of course, this is your space, so whatever is comfortable for you. Okay, so now that we have explored the writing, let's get into the physical writing. So with elements of dance, so first let me start with contemporary improvisation. So I incorporated contemporary improvisation basic techniques to be able to give individuals the opportunity to explore movement in a very free form way. So that means that they kind of make the choice, if you will, of how their body moves by just going based off of a couple of verbal prompts. So verbal prompts are basically me saying a term or technique, and they kind of choose what they want to show for their body to reflect that term or technique. And so with creative dance, it's an excellent way to be able to have a very free-form, movement-based type of session or exploration with any group, whether they are dancers or not, professional dancers. It's something for all bodies to do. I have done this type of technique with individuals that have had various mobilities, various accessibility needs within their bodies. I've done it with little toddlers up to those that have been up to 80 plus years old. So this is definitely for all bodies to explore. And anyone of any ethnic background, any language as well can explore this in their own cultural connections as well. All right, so the first element of dance that we will explore is that of timing. So in any kind of movement, you have different key principles that make up a sequence of movement. So elements of dance goes through the basic components of just movement within a phrase. And because you all have created phrases with your poetry, we're gonna go through that and connect the two with the movement and the writing. So timing is just that, okay? So let me just see, kind of just think of how is timing connected with movement? What is that connection? What does that mean? Timing and movement, timing and dance. What does timing mean to you? Fear of timing. And you can feel free to put it in the chat. Timing. Let's see. I'm able to see the chat now. So timing basically in movement in dance is basically just that. So working within the timing of the movement, yes, like to inspire people to take like these. Love it. Still working on the poetry. I love it. Yes, because you're gonna need this for this next part for sure. So it's basically timing of rhythm. Great. Timing is a powerful tool in dance and movement. Yes. Timing of rhythm. Timing is a powerful tool in dance and movement. So timing can be any variation of like fast, slow. It can be on the beat, off the beat. It can be order. I see somebody put like order. So the structure or the order of the phrases, the movements. Action, so it can be action expressed in various dimensions of time, right? It can be the length of what the piece is, like a metronome, yes. So some people in here, yes, are in music theory, so metronome. We do that also in dance as well. Synchronicity, so how our movements, phrases synchronized to the music, but also if there's no music, how is it synchronized to whatever the intention is of the person that is doing the movement? I also think of our heartbeat as its own expression of timing, right? Because there's a steady pace, a rhythm within our heart. Even when we clap, there's like a timing there. But also in movement, there's a timing, maybe I'm moving my body fast, or maybe I'm moving it slow, right? So that is also a form of timing. Wonderful. So element of dance 1, timing, okay? So when we talk about timing, specifically when you're connecting it with the phrase, you wanna think of, are you choosing to emote your movement in a fast pace, in a steady pace? Are you wanting it to go slow then fast, or fast then slow, okay? Are you wanting it to, right, without timing, no organisms can move. Exactly, there's timing within our organ system, right? When something is out of whack or not working in the timing that's calculated within our bodies, then that's when various things do happen within our bodies and it's expressed outwardly. Okay, so let's just practice timing before we go to the second one. So timing, just using our upper body. So whether you have extensions of your upper body or no extensions of your upper body, let's think of doing fast movement. So let's all practice fast movement. Any part of your upper body. So from here on up, from arms or whatever, elbows, head. Let's practice fast movement just with our upper body. So in whatever direction. There we go. Now let's practice a slow timing. Try to move your body, upper body, slow. Think of different parts of your upper body that you can move slow. Maybe it's just moving your finger, slow. Maybe it's moving your entire hand. Maybe you want to focus on moving your elbows. Maybe you're just moving your head slow. Now let's try a combination of that timing of both fast, slow, at whatever point. Let's go, fast, fast timing, upper body only. Now slow, slower timing. Now let's try to go fast again. One side of the body moving fast. Let's keep the other side as still as we can. and slow. Let's try to move our fingers fast. Any direction, it can jolt, it can open and close. Now let's try to move our fingers slow. Good, shake it out. Good. All right, let's try the same thing for those that are standing or would like to try in the chair with the lower body for timing. Let's try to move our lower body fast, fast-paced timing. I'm doing a little bit of my Latin dance style here. Now let's try to move the lower body slow. Maybe you're choosing your hip. Maybe you're choosing your foot. Maybe you're moving your whole leg. Maybe you're moving your spine slow. Now let's just try, just for the sake of it, to move our lower body fast and then slow. Let's go. Fast timing. Fast timing, choosing whatever part of that lower body. You can do both at the same time, and then slow. Slow. So I'm choosing to move my lower body focus slow. Good, shake it out. All right, we got time. So let's go into the next thing. So now we have energy. Energy is another component of the elements of dance. And I think, yeah, we'll do these three. Energy. So what does energy mean when it comes to movement? When it comes to dance or just movement in general? What is energy? What does that look like? What does that mean when it comes to movement? Let's take a couple moments here. Speed, love that, speed. Fuel of the movement, great. Everyone has great sharing right now, I love it. Commitment. Love all that I'm reading. Kinetics, it's definitely physics for sure. It is definitely a part of all of that. Motivation, yes. It also can be acceleration or deceleration, which is also a part of speed. It can be expression, right? So I can show energy in how my facial expressions are. So of course, if it's happy, excited, or if it's serious or somber, or if it's anger, that can be emoted through energy of movement because our muscles are moving in our face. Wonderful. So we've talked about energy. Yes, the capacity of movement, mental energy, the dancer's mind, which can, yes, absolutely. Sharing, wonderful. So you all have energy. So I think that you all have that in the bag. So we're not gonna run through that part as a physical activity. The last thing I wanna tell you about is pathway. So pathway is you creating the pattern of how you are moving. So pathway can be the direction, right? Where am I moving? You see I'm in the screen and then I'm out of the screen, right? It can be the direction or intent of the part of the body I'm moving, creating the shape or the pathway. It can be where my eyes go, okay? So pathway can go from a general, I'm walking this way, I'm moving that way, I'm backing up, I'm going front, I'm going back, to even the very small details, where your eyes go, where's your hearing going, where are your fingers moving, okay? So now that we have that, let's take 3 minutes, and this is what I want you to do. I'm gonna give an example of what I did for my poem. And I just literally wrote it in words, like single words. So I put faith, strength, leader, nurturer of all, and servant of many. So for me in this activity, I am choosing one element of dance that expresses or emotes what my poem says or feels, or what I express. So I have strength, I have leader, I have explorer, I have nurturer, right? And then I have nurturer of all, servant of many, and servant in a very positive light, okay? So maybe mine is energy. So maybe I choose energy. I have faith. Maybe I choose to have my energy up. And then I have my next word is strength. Maybe I choose to make my arms strong, right? And then I have leader. So maybe my chest is really poked out and strong, representing for me. Explorer. Maybe I'm looking around. Okay, you get the rest. Okay, so 3 minutes, because I want to give you time for Q&A and one or two people to present for both. Choose which element of dance, timing, pathway, or energy do you feel best expresses your poem? And then if you want to be fancy, try it out in your poem with what you wrote. All right, less than 3 minutes. Turn the music on and begin. And I'm gonna practice mine while you all are doing this too. One more minute. I'm gonna keep rehearsing them. All right, good people. Okay. Now I am not able to see everyone, but Sane, feel free to guide the prompts from the chat. Would love for us to go into presentation time with two people that would like to volunteer to present what you were able to create from the poetry and then adding in your element of dance that connected the most with your poem and any movements that you thought would connect with that.
And no matter how simple it is, guys, it's welcome. It's all about your interpretation and how you see the two connecting.
All right. Okay, so let's see if we have two volunteers that would like to share. Go ahead and you can either raise your virtual hand or put in the chat if you would like to share what you were able to compile together with your poem and which element of dance did you choose to connect with your poem that you wrote. And then if there's movement that you crafted with it, and it can be simple, very simplified.
Hello, Gigi.
Yes.
Okay. we now want to move into the question and answer session because of our time. So is it possible to just omit this part? Unless it's a very quick presentation by only one person.
Yeah, it can be one person. I think the response will be good to at least have an example. One
Okay.
person.
And there's a blank screen. Can you kindly remove that one?
On my end, I don't have a blank screen. Are you not able to see the presentation on my end?
No.
I can see it,
Okay.
but it's very low at the bottom of the screen. So if you
Hmm.
can maybe make it a bit bigger.
Yes, it's at the bottom.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Yes.
I think it's because I rotated my camera.
Okay, yeah. I can see it now.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So can we just move into the question and answer session?
Yeah, I think for the sake of time, perhaps we can.
Yes. Okay.
So at least Gigi was able to demonstrate how the two tie in together. So if you guys want to do it in your own free time, you're welcome to do so. But yes, we can definitely move on.
Yes, I think that's brilliant. So thank you so much for the brilliant presentation. It was interesting, intriguing, captivating, and very experiential. I would have loved to be part of the last part of it, but yeah, because of time, we have to move. But yeah, it was a brilliant piece of work. So I asked if any of our audience have questions, and none came up with a question. So I don't know if any have, they can just type it in the box. And then as they're typing, I can just be asking some of the questions that I had noted down.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So what do you feel were some of the most significant outcomes of the project for the participants?
For me, I have such a deep love for teenagers. It was really seeing the older and younger teenagers interact. There gets to be such different dynamics between those age groups. They say the younger ones who are like 13 and the ones who are 17, especially in school settings. And sometimes that carries on and trickles into the therapy or community space. And so it was nice to see for once there not being a hierarchy amongst the teenagers, them just working together, them just negotiating and allowing each one to have their own identity and their own expression. So that was really powerful for me to witness. And maybe at the center, Gigi would like to speak about that. What significant thing she saw at the center.
Yes, Gigi.
Wellness center.
You're on mute.
Are you on mute? You are muted. Let me just. Yeah.
You don't
Okay.
have any. Okay. You
can ask.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. There's a question in the chat box which says, how can we use such partnerships like Synergy to impact? Okay, let me just scroll up. Let's just go on. Okay. How can we use such partnerships like Synergy to impact health and climate in settings like Uganda, which is multicultural?
Yeah. I think in the multicultural space, I would really first try and see what are the dynamics between the different cultures. Because you might need to have something like a forum discussion before, and to just see where all the dynamics are and how far you can push the bar, so to speak, in terms of everyone coming into close contact. Because, for example, if the environment is very volatile, then we'd have to adapt it. We can't work in such a tight spots for safety and all other things. But I would really advise a forum discussion beforehand and then throw in the activity within it, and maybe we reflect after. So just to gauge what are the dynamics and to see how far we can explore it together, and then reflect on what that exploration meant for whatever issue, be it climate, be it health, be it whatever challenge that the country has. Because I can only really speak to my context, which is South Africa, which I know very well. But I would think in another country, going into another setting altogether, that's what I would do, just as baseline research for what is happening within the community and what are the real issues here about health or climate or anything else.
I can unmute now. Yay! Woo!
Yay!
Yes, I was gonna take the same response. Definitely doing some type of convening to discuss where the needs are in a multicultural community. You know, with the United States is still very multicultural as well, and so even the African diasporic communities within the U.S. have subcultures that there is needs of exploring where those needs are and where that synergy can happen. So definitely getting some form of like a needs assessment or a convening to see where is the need and where can this particular synergy collaboration play a part in and adapt to what that particular environment is.
Okay, thank you so much. And I think because of time, I'll just ask the final question. Were there any challenges in balancing of the artistic expression with the cultural or projects subject sensitivities?
I would say, I think tech, I wouldn't say the actual, you know, the actual activities itself, of course, technology. So when we were doing it hybrid, of course, just working through like, you know, Wi-Fi being in one location versus another. But once that was, you know, I just say with those things that can impact the activity, if it's, you know, kind of a little bit inconvenience, but then you create plan Bs, you create the contingency plans. So I would say if you're doing something, especially if it's like hybrid or virtual, where things could easily go awry, just have a contingency plan, a backup plan already in place to still make sure that people get that level of engagement, regardless of what may happen from the original plan.
Okay.
But I don't know if there was something else.
No, it was definitely tech.
It was definitely tech. All right. On that note, thank you so much. We have to move on to the next session. Such a brilliant presentation. And thank you for so much hard work that you did. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's been an honor.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ladies, for this wonderful session. I don't know just how time is flying by. We're just not able to cope with it. But I will take a few seconds here to thank Global South Arts and Health Week Qatar International Convening 2024, which is produced by the Global Arts and Medicine Fellowship in partnership with Qatar University, Alumni Psychology Chapter, Visit Qatar, Experience Qatar, Qatar Cancer Society, VC Arts, Global South Arts and Health Envoys, Marhaba, and the Gulf Good Vibes. And Gulf Good Vibes is a community initiative based in Doha, Qatar, dedicated to promoting mental health. And we are going to listen to some music from them, and they are into establishing mental health buddy systems with the African community in Doha. So get ready for the music, Gulf Good Vibes.
Mama Suza. Mama Suza. Mama Iti. Hey, Africa. It's okay not to be okay. Kanye?
It's a lonely world out there. Are you okay? Are you okay? Sweet rhythms and melodies heal the soul. So spread your love to the world and let your light shine, extending the message of love from the global south.
What the music does is heal the soul. A pretty simple song can make you whole. So we're singing you this song. We hope it makes you strong again, again.
Let your light shine bright, lighting up the night. It's your story, it's your song. It's where you belong. In good vibes, spread good vibes. Good vibes, spread good vibes. Good vibes, spread good vibes all around the world.
Tokwa mumanyi mbera na kukiriza tuli nawe. Tutakukuyamba ngoli wansi tewe mara mumanyi kwatwiriza ebisere byo mu maso bica kwatakote ku byensi ni nawe. Mbera na kukiriza, mbera na kukiriza.
As wellness flows, come on and take my hand. Lifting up each other, take a stand. And we're singing you this song. Step by step we rise together again, again,
Let your
again.
light shine bright, lighting up the night. It's your story, it's your song. It's where you belong. In good vibes, spread good vibes. Good vibes, spread good vibes. Good vibes, spread good vibes all around the world.
सेहत हो तो हर दिन शाहकार है तेरा। मीठा खाने से बेहतर है मीठा बोलिए। तन मन दोनों की खुशी का मतलब है सेहत। तो हर दिन तेरा शाहकार चाहिए। जिंदगी दोस्त बन जाए हार के कभी बैठो नहीं।
Ni okay, hata kama kuna noma, tunajipa hope dance simba ingoma. Kama tumesota kesho kutwa tutashona, na kama tuko weak kutwa kesho tanona. Wasodes for a family, yuko pamoja kwenye mpangano kama masoja. Let's spread love to the refugee in the world. This is Mr. Filter walking busy in your camp.
It's okay,
It's okay
not to be okay.
not to be okay.
Use your drums, use your heart, use your love. Take a walk, use your spot, use your love.
It's okay not to be okay.
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 Hey, 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 hey. Twende. Africa, Qatar, Global South, unite.
Not to be okay. It's okay.
It's okay
It's okay.
not to be
But
okay.
today it's okay not to be okay.
It's okay not to be okay.
It's okay not to be okay. Not to be okay. It's
Gulf good vibes. Your song makes us strong. Thank you so much. Please give them some love, some emojis. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening to this, joining us in this wonderful session. Gulf good vibes. It's okay not to be okay. Thank you so much for that. It's my very proud privilege now to go into our next section, the keynote address, where the chief person who's going to speak today is Dr. Noha Issam. She's the festival director from Cairo, as well as a professor of design, environmental psychologist, and a well-being consultant. Dr. Noha Issam, welcome.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Noha Issam. I'm a professor of interior architecture, also a member of World Design Global South of Interior Architecture and Interdisciplinary Design. I'm also an environmental psychology consultant and Global South Arts and Health Week Egypt director. I'm also a member of World Design Organization and founder of Studio Ni Plus in Cairo, Egypt. It's a pleasure to be here with you today presenting my talk about global directions of well-being in the creative sector. I'm going to talk about the creative sector, the global direction and trend cycle, and why people follow trends or these direction, and what's the direction and trend types, and what the well-being direction expressions and reflections we're living in our era. And we are concluding our talk with some recommendations and future studies. The pool of creative sector is wide, and we need to connect the world with creative industries, which are a diverse and complex sector made up of variety of subsectors like architecture, visual arts, crafts, interior and furniture product design, fashion, media, advertising, photography, radio, music, performing arts, computer games, and recently, AI applications and metaverse. Regarding this direction and the trend life cycle, we have a lot of trends ongoing, which can be emerging, building, or declining. And every trend has a life cycle, starting with innovation or introduction stage, rise, acceleration, acceptance, declining, and regression stages, which lead to a faded trend. But what people follow trends? As we are all trend followers and we need to be belonging to somewhere, not all of us are following the same trends. But people need reassurance that their choices are the right ones and will work for them, their families, and their lifestyles. Regarding the global directions and trend types, we have different types of trends like mega trends, macro trends, micro trends, and super trends. Regarding the mega trends, they are global patterns and they are driving forces that define the world today and that of tomorrow. Megatrends are global patterns that last 10, 20, 30 years, and it produces a framework or be used to introduce a theme and direction. And regarding the macro trends, they are offshoots of megatrends and the results of the adaptation to the megatrends in a later way. Also, macro trends stays for several years. Regarding the microtrends, they are also offshoots of megatrends and microtrends, but they stay for fewer years than macrotrends, like artificial intelligence, eco-friendly products, sensory approach. And the super trends are physical products or services, which are reflection to a wider trend. So we have like megatrend, macro trend, micro trend, and super trends. And the reflection of demographics is well-being awareness and also sensory experience that which are reflected on the super trend. Regarding well-being expression context, as we see today's lifestyle include megatrends and also macro and micro. We are living in a world of meditation. We are aware of the healthy lifestyle. We are able to practice a lot of activities and exercises. We are aware of the yoga benefits and being exposed to the nature and be connected with the natural atmosphere. Also, there is a lot of well-being expressions in such contexts like arts and crafts. So we use stress relieving, like mandalas, some products which are used specifically to relax, have this effect of relaxation in people by senses, like textures, like smell, like touch, or even audio. So there is a lot of expressions in such context. Regarding the media and films, which belong also to the creative industry or the creative sector, we can notice how the addiction drama and a lot of series handled the issues of disorders in the movies or in the series in general. Also, they cared about the interior design and how they make a good atmosphere or a good vibe or ambience for patients or even for people to have this meditating atmosphere. And how we can compare the old styles of hospitals or mental health centers and nowadays health centers which care for daylight, artificial light, colors, exposure to nature, and also considering natural materials. Also, we can see the importance of belonging and self-identity as values, also positive work environments that help employees to have this well-being effect and a good mental atmosphere. Also in architecture, designers and architects now care for reducing the phobia of spaces like claustrophobic factors like fear of heights aspects and also being in narrow spaces and sometimes even in wide spaces like agoraphobic people. We can find also that architects cared about giving this effects of confusion and tension somewhere where they need to deliver a message of architecture that emphasizes these feelings. So it's not always the positive feelings, but sometimes we can use the negative feelings so people understand the difference between the positive and the negative atmosphere in interior and in architecture. And regarding furniture and products, we are now living a technology and a progress in furniture and products that care for meditation and care for the well-being and mental health, like chairs, like pieces of furniture that make people relaxed. Also regarding fashion, we can see the outfits that match the movements and the motion of body in different activities and different positions. Also in graphic and digital apps, you can find a lot of apps that care for meditation, yoga, and how people can live a healthy life, even in dieting or even in doing different exercises and cardio. And recently, we are experiencing now the era of metaverse and extended reality, where it detects human responses and emotions in immersive environments, which will help us in the future to deal with it as tools, so we can build and real environments upon the testing or the detecting of such responses. So we can conclude all this and the impact of well-being in the creative sector as ways of expressions which are cyclical. So global trends and technology is a key to make things appear new and fresh. And that's why we are updated every time, and we have to be updated every time of our well-being and mental health atmosphere. So it's a reflection of our creative sector and also creative industry. I hope you liked the presentation, and I would like to thank all of you, and even I would like to express my gratitude for being here among those people who care about the well-being. And I would like to thank Dr. Conley for such opportunity. And I'm looking forward to collaborate with you all in the future. Thank you so much.
After that very insightful presentation, we are continuing with a research presentation from Dr. Oduntan Oluwasanpi, a medical doctor and a global arts in medicine fellow. Doctor, welcome here.
Hello, I would be presenting an assessment of physicians. Hello, I would be presenting an assessment of physicians' perspectives of art in health as an approach to patient care at a tertiary hospital. My name is Dr. Otuntosomi. I'm a medical doctor and an art in health researcher. It is my pleasure to be here today. I would be presenting this summary using an outline that highlights the background and signification, the research methods employed, the results, conclusion, and recommendations. Art in Health has been defined by the Art in Health Alliance as a diverse, multidisciplinary field dedicated to humanizing the healthcare experience by connecting people with the power of the art at key moments in their lives. Now, we can attest that with the bulk of research that has been available on and accessible on the importance or impact of art in health over the past 20 years, it is safe to conclude that if healthcare professionals who are central to the healthcare experience are not convinced on the importance of art in health, then they may be need to return to the drawing board. The aim of this presentation will be achieved if I'm able to help you understand why this study was carried out, how this study was carried out, and how to reproduce this study. This study aims at assessing the awareness of and understanding the perceived benefits, as well as finally assessing the willingness of doctors in Lagos University Teaching Hospital, which I will herein refer to as LUTH, to adopt art in health as an approach to patient care. This is important because it will help us know where we are currently and to understand the intricacies involved in implementing collaboration. Now, Lagos University Teaching Hospital is a tertiary hospital in Lagos, Nigeria, a low middle income country, a global south country, and the Lagos University Teaching Hospital caters to about 10,000 people monthly. So this presents a prime location, a prime study location to help us understand the peculiarities associated with implementing art in healthcare, art in health as an approach to patient care in such an environment. The research methods. So this study was carried out, conducted using a mixed method design comprising of a cross-sectional descriptive design as well as a series of key informant interviews in order to harness the strength of both research methods and to further detail the perceptions as well as willingness in this study. Eligible doctors were those who had worked at the facility for over 3 months and has had significant patient contacts within 6 months of the study. I'll be a bit detailed about the research methods. So for the quantitative research, we determined our sample size using the Cochrane's formula, and we went a step further that after determining our minimum sample size to be 207, accounting for a non-response of 10%, we recruited 240 participants for this study. For the self-administered questionnaire, we also calculated Cronbach's alpha in order to ensure the reliability of each section of the questionnaire. We analyzed the questionnaire using EpiInfo and version 7, and we calculated the frequencies, percentages, means, standard deviations, as well as the associations between categorical variables where using the chi-square and Fisher's exact test where appropriate. For the qualitative research, we determined our sample size using purposive sampling. So we ensured that since it was a key informant interview, we wanted heads of departments, consultants who had a wealth of experience concerning the topic. We wanted key informants who had occupied administrative roles in their clinical practice. We wanted key informants who had worked at the hospital for over 10 for a minimum of 10 years and had practiced medicine for at least 20 years. So they were also chosen via a criteria that ensured gender inclusion and a multidisciplinary spread across departments. So we wanted to involve care across various ages, so from the pediatric care to the geriatric care, obstetric care, and so on. Qualitative data was collected via semi-structured key informant interviews, and we ensured to record and transcribe each section in order not to miss out any information. We carried out a thematic analysis as well as an inductive approach for statistical analysis. This involved categorizing the data and deriving themes. The coding was carried out via Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel. Then we went further to triangulate the data points in order to increase validity. So in instances where we saw that there was, we wanted to see were there any similarities, any differences, or places where the qualitative data could explain the quantitative data or vice versa. For the results, we saw that of all 220 respondents who filled correctly, the mean age was 33.6. We saw that majority of the respondents, about 39.1%, had worked at the hospital for a duration over 5 years, and only 29 had worked less than a year. Then for the qualitative data, we were able to generate 8 generic themes extracted from 3 main themes, which I would ensure to expand on as we go on. Now, awareness of art in health. First, in order to properly test perception, to test knowledge, it's important to measure awareness. So from this study, we saw that almost 10% of our respondents had never heard the term art in health, art in medicine, art and health, healing art, art in healthcare. Whichever other similar terms were used, they had no awareness at all. Then among the 90.5% who were aware, we were able to identify those who had good knowledge by presenting them with 10 different forms of art in health, and then they were able to identify which of them they knew. We saw that 75.4 were able to correctly identify that color schemes and designs in patient environments were forms of art in health, and only 29.7 were able to identify that hip-hop groups aimed at reducing isolation among teenagers was some form of art in health. Then the respondents' perceived benefits of art in health, we presented them with 8 statements, which they were allowed to strongly agree, be neutral, disagree, or strongly disagree with. It was very interesting here that 7 people disagreed that art in medicine would improve quality of care and reduce errors. And 3 people disagreed that the benefits of implementing art in health would outweigh the cost. For the willingness to adopt art in medicine, we saw that 98.5% were willing to adopt art in medicine or art in health as an approach to patient care at LUTH. However, only 74.9% were willing to undergo training. Then, interestingly, we saw that 91% were willing to collaborate with artists where necessary for implementation. So with the results gleaned from this study, we can draw the following conclusions: that there was an encouraging awareness of art in health amongst the respondents, and that all respondents had positive perceived benefits of art in medicine as an approach to patient care, and the majority were willing to use art in health as an approach to patient care and to collaborate with artists where necessary to bring about implementation. And that awareness of art in health and work duration, among other factors, were instrumental in their willingness to use art in health as an approach to patient care. Now, I forgot to mention that we found a statistically significant association between the respondents' awareness and their willingness to adopt art in health as an approach to patient care. So this means where the respondents were aware and had some good perception or perceived arts in health to be beneficial, they were 97% willing to adopt art in health as an approach to patient care. While where we saw poor knowledge, meaning less than 50% knowledge, they were able to only pick less than 50% of the forms of art in health. They were only 87% willing to accept art in health as an approach to patient care. For the qualitative research, we saw that the major themes which came up were that their perceptions concerning art in medicine, which included improving healthcare through art and use of creativity as a supportive tool in patient care. The perceived benefits of using art in health as an approach to patient care included willing patient cooperation, improving mood, and good clinical outcomes. And the influences to its adoption in patient care were either positive or negative. The positive included favorable disposition of administrators, collaboration with experts, funding, and interestingly, medical student involvement. While negative influences include lack of understanding of concepts and lack of formalized policies. Now, these are some of the verbatim statements made by the key informant. We find patients being more responsive to care, being more cooperative, and their caregivers as well when they're exposed to art in health. And knowledge will drive the attitude, and attitude obviously will drive the practice. So hospital-wide, from the top down, the value of art in medicine needs to be conveyed in simple and understanding way. So with this, we can make the following recommendations: that efforts be directed at development of a policy document, which should be made accepting art in health as an approach to patient care. That secondly, further awareness should be created amongst staff of this facility. This can be carried out at staff gatherings. And that healthcare professionals should be trained on the use of arts in healthcare as an approach to patient care, and should be actively involved in design and implementation of arts in health programs. Designated and dedicated staff should be brought in to handle arts in health programs so that it does not become an additional job for the healthcare staff, and there should be regular monitoring and feedback following implementations. Thank you very much for listening. I hope I've been able to help you understand why this study was done, how this study was done, as well as how it can be reproduced. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Sanvi. That was really very interesting. And I must say that I was one of those who didn't know what impact art and medicine and how that could really help the health. And it's really wonderful. And you are actually a Global Arts and Medicine Fellow. From the time you started your journey, what kind of transformations have you seen now to the present time?
Thank you very much for that question. So yes, I'm an Global Arts and Medicine Fellow 2018. And so far for me, it's been about 5 years being an art and health practitioner in Nigeria. And I can say that the transformation I have seen has been personal for me, because working in a hospital, first of all, I joined as a student. I became an arts and medicine practitioner as a student, and now I'm a doctor. And the biggest transformation for me has been in myself, actually. So currently, I'm working in a hospital where empathy is very important. And I see that it's easier for me to be empathetic because I have an arts background. That's first. And second, I also saw a change in my patients. So when my patients are exposed to arts, even when I was a student, I saw that patients who were exposed to arts tend to be more cooperative with us. So, you know, how annoying procedures can be, how annoying having to take samples every time and things like that. So we saw that with patients who
had that exposure, because they began to see us as friends, not their enemies, it was much easier to do that. That's the second. And also with my teachers, I saw that because in situations where they applied art as an approach to healthcare, they tended to explain better to their patients. They tended to communicate better with their patients. They tended to be more down to earth with their patients. So there was no use of medical jargon. There was no use of highfalutin language. I saw that because they also had become humans, so to speak, in that moment, it became easier to communicate with the patient. And I also included some of the verbatim quotes from those who were interviewed. So these are key informants who have 20 years of practice in medicine. So if I can't even speak for it, I know they can. And they said that with patients wherein art was used as a supportive tool, they saw much improvement, not just in their healthcare, but also in their mood, in their responsiveness to therapy, and so on. Thank you.
So there is a question here, please, whether they can have access to the information. It's Maria who's asking this, and please, would you like to answer that? Whether they can have access to the information. And it's a wonderful presentation. We have many people saying that out here for you. So kudos to you and your work.
Thank you very much. So this information hasn't been published yet. We're still working on gathering. So what we're trying to do is reproduce the same study in various other locations and then bring it together. So it's sort of a hospital evaluation, that kind of thing. So that's why the information isn't available yet. So I just felt a snippet could be included in this presentation. Thank you.
So just a last question for you before we wrap up the session, Dr. Sangmi. I just wanted to know when these people go back home, the patients, when they go back home, and the caregivers, what do the caretakers at home feel about this whole process of the transformation of the person? When they go home, are they more demanding because now they are used to having specific empathy and more creative interactions with you?
Yes, that's a great question, actually. So one thing we tried, so first of all, this study was more of an evaluation. So we were just saying, okay, what is being done currently and what is the impact like? So I can't speak for what has happened after the study, but I can say that while the study was being conducted, we saw that those who were practicing art and health tried to include the caregivers. So it wasn't just the patients. They also tried to include the caregivers, so that it wasn't just the patient experiencing it, the caregiver was also experiencing the same transformation. So it became, I guess, or I assume that because both of them are experiencing the same thing, the burden is relieved on, for example, I can say pediatric patients. You want to attend to a pediatric patient, the mother or the father is also there, receiving the same care, receiving the same art and health therapy, so to speak. So it's easy for them to go home and reproduce the same thing. However, that's also an interesting research topic that we can look into. So yes, it's something that we can objectively look into, because right now I'm talking subjectively. I'm saying that I think because the caregiver got the same experience, but I can't really tell. So it would be nice for us to have some kind of feedback. Okay, now that you've experienced this, how did it change you? How did it change your child's response at home? Was it easier to feed your child when you apply some form of art to health, or is it harder, that kind of thing? So yes, great question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sangmi, for your time and for answering all these questions. And I hand over to my lovely friend, Courage, out here to continue the next session. Thank you, Courage. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. Okay, right now we'll move into the Creative Arts Therapy Workshop session by Ilahe Rahimian. My apologies if I did not pronounce that correctly, but I'm sure you understand me. Okay, and she is Iran Gsahw HW Country Festival Director, IETA Regional Co-Coordinator, and founder and director of Urban Expressive Arts. You can take the floor. You are on mute.
Hello, everyone. It's time to have a make art. And are you ready to practice? We have some practice, some warm up, and one main activity. Okay, please, with the simple tools that you have, such as color pencil, pen, pastel, or paper, or anything that you have, we want at first make a doodling or draw a line on the paper, however you like. We have 2 or 3 minutes for this activity. After you finish, you can share your artwork or take a picture in the chat box or turn on your video and show your artworks. Thank you, Elham, for sharing. Thank you so much. Okay, it's just a warm up, and we draw very free and just doodle on the paper. Now take a look at your artworks, at your line, and researcher has shown that by examining the drawing of children and artists, it had been observed that individuals who use more curved lines, circle, and similar shape tend to be those whose emotion dominate in their life, and they can make a decision and comfort situation based on their feeling. On the other hand, individuals who use straight line, geometric lines tend to rely more on logic. And now reflect on your own drawing and see whether you lean more towards being logical or emotional. You can write on the chat box logical or emotional, and logical, emotional, emotional. Of course, maybe some people may incorporate both styles in the drawing, indicating that they possess both logical and emotional aspects in their life. Oh, Vanessa Simmons say, very true for me, love curved line, and I'm very emotional. Okay, thank you. Okay, it's both. Yeah, some people love both because in their life are use both emotional and logical for the decision and thinking about something, but they have feeling also. Okay, now we want to have another, please pick up another paper. And it's other activity. It's a care map. Okay, first, draw a circle in the center of the paper and write your name inside it. Draw a circle in the center of the paper and write your name inside it. Then you will draw other circle around it, and in which you will write the name of place, people, object, anything exists in your words. But anything that support you as well as anything that help you experience positive feeling, write the name of the people or object or everything that you feeling about support you in your life in the other circle in your paper.
Sorry to interrupt, Eli. We have 3 minutes remaining for the session, so we need
Yes,
to just
okay.
round up. Yes.
Okay. If someone has finished this activity, can share it or talk about her experience. Is there anyone to share? This is your support mat that you can decorate it and place it in corner of your room or your office to look at it, because there are your assets and valuable assets that we might sometimes forget it. Thank you all. Hope you enjoy these activities and hope to see you in the future.
Thank you so much for the interesting presentation. It would have been good to have one person at least give feedback on what they've written. But yeah, I think it's an interesting. I think one question I would ask is, how has been the response of arts-based methodology with?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you because.
Okay, let me repeat it. I'm saying, how has been the response of arts-based methodologies with the communities or the groups of people that you've worked with?
I'm expressive art therapy and use expressive art through my when I'm working with group, but we have some art visual exercise, but before that, at first we have warm up at main exercise, and after that we could do some movement or relaxation in the group. But this activity is such just a little bit exercise that we can use for adults or adolescents and any client that we have.
Okay, thank you so much. Because we're running behind time, I think people who have questions can also just put them in the chat box. But I've seen someone has put a response to the question that you'd ask people to share. So someone has also just shared in the chat box. So I think we can take a look as we move forward. Okay, now I'm going to introduce the Change Makers, which is a video documentary and highlights of the Global South Arts and Health Envoys. So they're going to be introducing themselves in the video and they speak about their work. Okay.
Hello, my name is Vanessa Simon. I live in Delaware in the United States. I was born in Argentina but have now lived in the US for over 30 years. It was a great honor to be selected as an envoy for 2024 and to get to know this beautiful global community. I own a business called Mariposa Arts, and I utilize it to partner with nonprofits to bring the arts and creativity to a variety of folks with a focus on the arts and health and well-being. Creativity is a powerful force. I have personally benefited from it, and it allows us to express our joys and our difficulties. The research is there that confirms where our cultures and our lived experiences instinctively know.
Hello everyone, my name is Mahmood Bhatti. I am from Karachi, Pakistan. I am a community-based theatre practitioner. I am currently leading community-driven initiatives at IRD Pakistan that use theatre and the arts to raise awareness on mental health issues and other social challenges. My work involves developing and directing theatre of the oppressed performances, which are staged in underserved communities, health institutions, and universities. My work helps bridge the gap between marginalized communities and essential health services, fostering dialogue on critical topics like patient rights, social stigma, and mental health issues. Using the arts as a medium allows me to communicate complex health and social issues in a way that resonate with communities, breaking taboos and encouraging proactive solutions. Through these performances, we've witnessed increased community engagement, where participants not only become aware of impact health issues but also take ownership in addressing them. Our recent performance in Liari helped me local residents openly discuss mental health for the first time, breaking down long-held stigmas. Furthermore, students and healthcare professionals alike have been positively impacted by our workshops and theatre performances, which enhance their understanding of patient care through empathetic storytelling.
Our story begins with Ali Slater, and with her own experiences of chronic ill health, used art as a way for her to process, reflect, engage, and communicate her struggles to larger audiences. From there, she founded The Starving Artist. The Starving Artist Initiative is an innovative and unique approach that uses art and creativity to promote representation and intersectionality in civic reform. By utilizing art and culture, the initiative educates and raises awareness about the lived-in experiences of marginalized communities to a wider audience. This includes policymakers, educators, and healthcare professionals who better understand those who are directly affected globally. Often those from marginalized backgrounds face education, language, socioeconomic, and other hurdles that prevent access and participation in creating larger systemic reform. Our founder, Ali Slater, believes that art gives voice behind numbers of those affected globally. We focus on using our platforms to really champion those who are directly affected. Through our innovative art interventions, such as publications, exhibitions, art billboard campaigns, art-based reflection cards, and so much more, what we need to do is foster more spaces, especially through The Starving Artist, to really harness the potential of creative voices for making lasting systemic reform.
Hola, soy Sol Guerrero de Mendoza, Argentina, en Sudamérica. Actualmente me desempeño como embajadora global del Sur de Arte y Salud y además soy representante de la Alianza Mundial de Dramaterapia y presidenta de la Asociación Argentina de Dramaterapia. Soy psiquiatra y dramaterapeuta, trabajo principalmente con adolescentes y jóvenes, promoviendo la salud mental en diferentes ámbitos de prevención y de tratamiento desde el arte y potenciando los recursos saludables de las personas para poder generar comunidad. Este trabajo es muy importante porque estamos en un mundo donde se promueve el individualismo, la soledad, que cada uno luche por sí mismo. Entonces, poder generar espacios de comunidad donde podamos interactuar, generar proyectos en conjunto y donde el arte sea el vehículo que nos une, genera que realmente las actividades y las acciones produzcan esperanza y sensación de pertenencia. En el Congreso Latinoamericano que realizamos recientemente vinieron personas de más de 12 países. Al final, en el cierre, trabajamos con el teatro playback, donde una de las narradoras fue una persona que hizo talleres con nosotros en un orfanato. Hemos trabajado en hospitales, en escuelas. Entonces ella nos contó que sentía que su trabajo ya no tenía razón de ser, que estaba desesperanzada, que se sentía sola y que a través de estos recursos, en este caso artísticos, pudo volver a llevar esa salud mental a su equipo de trabajo y también a las niñas que viven en esa institución. La idea de trabajar con el arte en salud es poder brindar a la comunidad un espacio seguro y encuadrado con apoyo científico para que puedan desarrollarse actividades que puedan sostener esta interacción, permitiendo la libertad y que pueda interactuarse en un margen seguro. Entonces creemos que realmente la dramaterapia y el arte une personas de distintas nacionalidades, distintos credos, distintos idiomas, todos nosotros en función de generar cambios profundos y trabajar juntos para el bien común.
Lovely work from our envoys. It's so interesting to see how people are doing a lot of important work using arts-based methodologies. It shows the power of creativity in creating change. In the space, we have 3 of our envoys who've just showed their videos. So I'm just going to ask questions so that they can respond to some of the work that they've been doing. Okay. So I'll start with okay, sorry, I'm just technical issues here, but okay. All right, so I'll start with Vanessa. As an entrepreneur, what is the sustainability model for your arts and health business? And how do you maintain the the continuity of the healing process in a mental health or social justice project once you have completed the project? So I'll repeat it again because it's quite a long question. So as an entrepreneur, what is the sustainability model for your arts and health business? And how do you maintain the continuity of the healing process in a mental health or a social justice project once the project is completed?
Yeah,
so
thank
you
you for
can,
that.
okay, you can go on.
I'm ready.
Yes.
As you saw in my video, I piloted Healing Through the Arts at the Delaware Art Museum. And for the first 2 years, I explored ways of making sure that I could retain ownership of my program. And that led me to open a for-profit business and create a fiscal sponsor partnership with the museum for the program in specific, so that the funding would only go to the program. So that was one way of building sustainability. The benefit of that was that I could work for myself and continue to expand my work in the arts and health, and it opened more doors for me in this way. It also allowed me to do business in a way that honors my values. Sustainability to me means being able to keep the program free to the participants and to the organizations that host us. And that's possible through this type of partnership. I felt very strongly that I wanted to influence how we paid our teaching artists in an equitable way, and being able to be a consistent contractor for them. This way we're building and driving the creative economy together as we're making impact on others. Sustainability also means building belonging throughout my business in a way that honors all the parts of the community building. Each part is important, from the participants to the teaching artists, to the organizations, to the coordination. We need all the parts for it to work. So supporting that is sustainability to me. And to answer the second part, since we meet with our groups regularly, I've worked to make my business an integral part of the healthcare solution in a variety of ways. I make art workshops accessible. We pay for the instructions and all the art materials. This way we can encourage our participants to build a creative practice for well-being so that it's sustainable for them as well.
Thank you so much. That is very clear. You spoke about the entrepreneurship aspect, spoke about the community, and so it's very clear, and you're doing amazing work. Thank you so much. And then a question for Mahmoud. You'll have to correct how I say your name again. But for Mahmoud, in a theater of the oppressed or a theater for social justice project, how do you tell whether or not the process has been effective to the target clients or participants? So how do you tell whether a project has been effective to the target clients or participants? And is there a way of measuring efficacy or impact? So maybe you can respond to that first part of the question before I move on to the follow-up question.
Am I the audible?
Yes, you are.
Thank you. Thank you for the thoughtful question. In a theater of the oppressed or social change project, measuring effectiveness requires a combination of qualitative and quantitative approaches. Just example, participants' feedback and reflection. You can create spaces for participants to share their reflections through focus groups, interviews, audience polling, and feedback forms after each session or performance. We did this when we were evaluating our performing art approach. People's responses help us gauge how to activity resonated with them, whether it shifted their perspective, and what emotions or thoughts it provoked. For example, participants often express feeling empowered to address personal and social challenges after stepping into roles during the forum theater exercises. Getting my point?
Yes. Okay.
And-
And then, all right. You want to go on?
Okay. And the second thing is the observable changes in behavior. During the performance or workshop, it is important to observe the shifts in participation dynamics, particularly among marginalized groups. Increased confidence, openness, and willingness to share their stories are key indicators of the success. For instance, in our initial workshop where we conducted Theatre of the Oppressed workshop with the one group over for 3 days, we took detailed observation notes and noticed many people who initially hesitated to speak in public later led the discussion, and issues like negligence of care in psychiatric facilities after 3 days of theater-led activities and discussion.
Okay. Thank you so much. And does the theater remove mental health stigma or reduce it and foster a more community of understanding, awareness, and access?
Okay. Absolutely, yes. Theater for the mental health stigma, if I'm saying that humanizing stories through the relatable characters and scenarios, theater allows audiences to empathize with the individual experiencing mental health challenges. This reduces fear and judgment, replacing with them understanding and compassion. And the second thing is challenging myths. By confronting stereotypes directly within the narrative, theater educates and corrects the misconception in an engaging manner. And third thing is empowering voices. When people with lived experience perform or participate, it challenges the audience's perceptions of what people with the mental health challenges are capable and provides them with a platform for advocacy.
Thank you
And
so
fourth,
much.
and
Yes, okay.
last thing is
Lastly. Okay.
community dialogue.
Yes.
Community dialogue is very important. Plays and workshops often lead to discussions that wouldn't be occur otherwise, fostering collective reflection and solution building. Yes.
Thank you so much. That is very detailed. Indeed, theater is empowering and it encourages empathy. Thank you so much for that, Mahmoud. Okay, and question for Saul. In what ways does drama therapy and playback theater provide safe spaces for individuals experiencing isolation to tell their stories?
Well, thank you so much for the question. And well, both drama therapy and playback theater create a safe space by setting clear frame and guiding clear objectives. So this creates kind of a balance between the ritual and the risk. That is by being clear in the setting, the rules of the game. It allows people to venture into the deepest contents and emotions through arts. So one of the special things about drama therapy and playback theater is this balance between risk and ritual. And the other important thing we have is that we have an active listening that allows this potential space for creativity where the creations are not judged nor criticized. And this also gives us the sensation of a safe and a really truly safe space where we can use the aesthetic distance to work with these difficult things that we cannot bring us easily to our words. So arts in general have this really potential in dealing with hard situations.
Thank you so much. So arts creates a safe space to discuss issues. Thank you so much for that response. And thank you to all of you for the beautiful presentations. I hope people have learned one or two. Okay, so we'll move forward.
Thank you, Courage. Thank you very much. I'll take on from here.
Okay.
And I wish to thank you for asking those very interesting, insightful questions, which again bring us back to what Global South Arts and Health Week. It's a global initiative by Global Arts and Medicine Fellowship. And it is about interdisciplinary practice of arts and health, creative art therapy, and community-based engagement in the Global South. So this is what we are doing. And we also have drama added to it. Thank you very much to everybody who participated, asked questions, gave some encouragement. Please go ahead, put some emojis and loud hearts and claps for the audience as well as for our speakers. In the meantime, did you know that 50% of the land in Ghana is used for agricultural purpose? Let's find out more about the Ghana Pavilion, the Gsahw Ghana Pavilion, and it comes on here in a video documentary. Thank you very much to the tech team for putting this together for us.
Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Nana Abba Kwenwa-Pobi. I'm a medical doctor, a Global Arts and Medicine Fellow, and the Associate Country Festival Director of the Global South Arts and Health Week. I would like to speak about how this week has been so far. It's been an amazing week, a very educative week, starting from day one where we had our workshop on stroke awareness and also the unveiling of the stroke art series. It was a time of reflection, it was a time of remembrance, it was an interactive session. We had people who attended tell me that personally that they had a great time. It was actually a time to unwind, considering the time that they returned from work, but you'd rather they would have considered being home, but being there, they felt it was a good time to relax, to interact, to network. So day one was good. Day two on autism was very deep. A mother speaking, an expert speaking, a medical expert as well, an occasional expert and a medical expert speaking. They gave very in-depth knowledge on autism, and they spoke really well, advocating for it strongly. And I must say that people learned a lot. I did. for one. And on the day 3 on caregivers with Mr. Bright Doe, wow, he taught us a lot. The presentation was very detailed. It was an educative session, an interactive session, and people, I believe, learned a lot. Day 4, our sip and paint, and day 5 at Jamestown Presbyterian Church Redemption Congregation in Jamestown. They were very receptive. We had the members of the community come in and we screened, and then the children at the school also be educated, led by Tiapo, which is led by Dr. Kwesi Aboyo Ankra. It was a very great time. Day 6, our closing ceremony and conference was or is a day to remember. We had a very good time speaking on autism, speaking on climate change, and speaking on female reproductive health or sexual reproductive health with our theatrical performances led by Dr. Abdul Karim and performed by the students of the School of Performing Arts, University of Ghana, Legon. It was a good session to have, and I must say in general, Gsahw Ghana Pavilion 2024 did an amazing work. Kudos to the team, kudos to the Country Festival Director, Doris, yes, Komla, and kudos to Dr. Karim, Dr. Boyo, and our organizing team, our volunteers. Kudos to me, thank God. Yes, we're hoping for the best, and see you next year, Gsahw Ghana Pavilion 2025. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Doris Komla. I am the Country Festival Director for the Global South Arts and Health Ghana Pavilion 2024, and my experience has been all shades of beautiful. It's been a privilege to champion something like this and lead over 50,000 people and collaborations besides volunteers who are also like it. I think we had 30 volunteers within Ghana and even outside Ghana, partnering organizations, partnering with different spheres of the Ghanaian community has been nothing short of a privilege for me, and I can't say it enough. The journey to get here was birthed out of the frustration that we saw based on the statistics about the challenges that the Ghanaian people face. So did you know that the leading cause of death of the Ghanaian people today is stroke? One of it is stroke. It's number 1 for women, and it ranks as number 5 for men. And this is definitely something that we need to talk about. Another layer to that information is that most people who fall victim of stroke cannot afford to pay for CT scans. And for every split second that there's a delay to get that quick response for medical attention, brain cells are dying per second. So that's how much we need to address it. Then the third layer to that is there are people even in other regions of Ghana who cannot access the nearest place to get a CT scan for stroke. So these are major issues that we need to talk about in the community, and we got a chance to do that in this 1 week of our festival period. We especially are grateful for the Tiapo Foundation, amazing people who have been paying for CT scans for stroke patients in Ghana through the arts. So it was that very beautiful collaboration that helped us to do that. We also got the chance to collaborate with the religious organizations, just so that we could get the space to run screenings. We collaborated with corporate organizations to get the venues. Look how diverse the community is, and that's how much we need one another to make any growth in Ghana. And especially seeing how the coming together of medicine and arts, is sinking more and more in the Ghanaian community. It's something we're grateful for. It's something we're privileged to champion. Gsahw is here to stay. Gsahw will always happen every year.
Hello, my name is Dr. Michael McCarthy, the CEO of Sinel Specialist Family Hospital. It's exciting to see the intersection between art and medicine. Medicine actually is art, and art can also be medicine. Today, we had the drama performances by the University of Ghana students, and that brought out very in-depth and heartful discussions. And I think it brings to the fore the effectiveness of using art to propagate key issues in medicine. And I think for me that has been maybe the biggest lesson for today, that we should take art more seriously in its collaboration with medicine, and I think that's probably the easier way to get the real message across in a non-technical, in a non-judgmental way.
Hi, my name is Ino Quagrin. I'm the founder and CEO of Talkative Mom and Talkative Mom Studios. So, this week has been very, very impactful. I love the fact that there's a merger between arts and health. I love seeing professionals in the health industry get creative and then showcase what that creativity could be in this world. Now, about today's program, I was the moderator and I had the singular honor of moderating a panel of professionals, and they shared so much knowledge, so much insights about maternal health, about the vagina, about women's health in general. I loved the monologue. The monologue was awesome. I believe that everyone has to hear it.
Hello, my name is Sandra Saiwafwa, a registered general nurse, currently working with M-Pharma Pharmaceuticals Ghana. I'm an active volunteer of the Ruby Small Girls Foundation, where we educate young girls on menstrual hygiene, sexual education, and also give them pads. This year we partnered with the Gsahw Health Week celebration, and it's been incredible. I'm glad I had the opportunity to share my thoughts on things that have been going on in our world now. And also I like the fact that we had the monologues incorporated in the whole session. The message was able to be sent across perfectly.
My name is Andrew Annan. I'm a pharmacist and the founder of Hiwala Lifestyle. It's been a pleasure being here at the Global South and Arts and Health Week Ghana Pavilion celebration on the theme Health Beyond Medicine. And I think the theme was very fitting. We've seen arts play a critical role in how people live their lives and how people could take a step forward to live healthier lives. And we've seen different screenings and presentations using different methods, drama, theater, paintings. And I think this week's celebration has really come to a nice conclusive end today, with reproductive health panels, different monologues, and talks about mental health and wellness, especially this month of May, this Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm really looking forward to a bigger and more successful session next year and even along the year. So thank you for a wonderful week celebration. Thanks to the organizers and thanks to everyone.
Well, my name is Abdul Karim Mahakib. I teach at the School of Performing Arts, University of Ghana. Well, my area is theatre for development, so we use the creative arts and projecting issues of development, and that is how come, as part of this year's celebration, we use drama, vagina monologues to be precise, to talk about issues of sexual and reproductive health.
Hello, my name is Whitney Ernest and I was the co-host for the Ghana Pavilion 2024 program. It was absolutely sensational. We had so many speakers from the corporate spaces, theatre performances, a bunch of creatives from their own spaces coming together to teach and have critical conversations. The conversations span climate change to female reproductive health, autism, mental health. It was even the health of our earth. You know, so it definitely was an incredible time. I can't wait for next year's one. Maybe I could be a country representative, but you missed out. You missed out.
And in saying that, the other thing as well is that because a lot of the research and the data has been predominantly undertaken on white males, what autism looks like for black children is also different. And then when you put that into a cultural context, what autism looks like for a UK black child and a Ghanaian black child looks different. So we talk about, we call it intersectionality. There are different sections of who we are that interconnect. So the experience of a black female Ghanaian child will look different to a black female UK child, but will also look different to a white female Ghanaian child.
I think this program is the step in the right direction, and then we hope that it will be bigger and better next year. Then very well done, and kudos to everyone who was on board to make this happen.
And we hope that more of the Ghanaian people will receive us, the media. We need all the support, the media, organizations, anyone who sees the value in what we're doing. This is going to be very helpful. And, we'll be glad to have you come on board and be a part of what we're doing. it doesn't end here. All the arts that has been done, well, we've got volunteers who created art promoting and addressing stroke challenges in Ghana, and we'll be proceeding with an auction of the artworks first or second week in June. So please look out for that. We look forward to having you. And then please buy art so we can pay for more CT scans. Okay.
It was such a lovely, wonderful presentation from the Ghana Pavilion. So much of work has gone behind this, and one can understand the more conversations that we have, that much more solutions we will be able to find together. It is now, as we move to the next section, my very privilege and honor to invite, everyone calls her lovingly Soul, but I'm going to call Maria Sol Guerrero, the psychiatrist and drama therapist, all the way from Argentina, the Gsahw envoy, to please come and give the closing remarks of this session. Soul? So as I'm just waiting for Soul to come, I will quickly just thank the Global South Art and Health Week Qatar International Convening 2024, which is produced by Global Arts and Medicine Fellowship in partnership with Qatar University, Alumni Psychology Chapter, Visit Qatar, Experience Qatar, Qatar Cancer Society, VC Arts, Global South Arts and Health and Voice, Marhaba, and the Gulf Good Vibes, who we heard just now. Maybe Soul is having a technical glitch there. Okay, so in the meantime, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite Trish. Trish, thank you so much for being here. And it's now time for me to request you to give the thanks and announcement of closing. And all good things have to come to an end. And I hand it over to you, Trish. Take it up.
Thank you so much. And I just want to say good evening to everybody. And as we close out for day one of the Global South Arts and Health Week 24 pre-launch, I'm really filled with the gratitude for all the powerful moments we've shared. And today we've not only connected across distances, but we've created a space where our voices and our ideas and our collective energy are being heard and valued. And this platform has allowed us to break down barriers. And in doing so, we are reshaping how we engage with the arts and health and well-being, and we're doing it together. So we see new and familiar names. I'm hoping that the new names will soon become familiar names. And to our speakers and our facilitators and our artists, we thank you. Sana Wisi, Noha, Gigi, Tam, Hey, Gulf Good Vibes team, Maria, Vanessa, Doris, Mahmoud, Ali, and the Ghana Pavilion. We're looking forward to June, and we will make sure we try and get some more artwork bought. Your sessions today have been really thought-provoking and insightful, and it's been challenging for us to see the world differently. So you've shown us how creativity, when harnessed, can transform our understanding of ourselves, our communities, and the healing process. Your expertise and the depth of knowledge have made these conversations richer, and we're all better for it. And a heartfelt thanks to the moderators, Courage and Shambibi. Your questions and moderation have been seamless, and you've expanded insights to each presentation with your questions. So your dedication has ensured that everything's run smoothly. And because of your efforts, this event has been truly an inclusive, accessible experience for all. So thanks to the tech team as well for making sure that every aspect of technology was on our side today. It not always is it? Except for this last little moment, I guess. And so to our participants, whether this is your first time you're joining this event like this, or you facilitated many and participated in many, I know you'll all agree that we're all taking something valuable from today. So with every experience, every conversation, it adds to our shared journey, and we're growing, we're learning, and we're expanding together. And that is what makes this movement so powerful. And I'm sure we can all feel it. So that no matter how many times we engage in these topics, we always leave with something new, a new idea, a new connection, and a challenge to think bigger and act bolder. And as we look ahead, I want to give a final heartfelt thank you to Kunle Adewale. Kunle, your visionary leadership is the spark that ignites this movement, and your relentless drive to create spaces where collaboration thrives and where people come together to make a real impact is truly inspiring. And so through your work, you've shown us that we all have the power to change the world, and starting with the ways that we connect and care for each other. So this is just the start, and the journey doesn't end here for the Qatar 2024. So I hope you're going to join us again tomorrow and on Monday, and if possible, next week in person. But if not, I hope you continue to work in your own communities, and remember that we all carry this energy forward. The conversations we've started today are just the beginning, and each of us has the power to keep pushing, keep collaborating, and keep building this movement, because it is it's just an energy that we carry. And each time we meet, the energy grows. And we invite you to continue this journey with us tomorrow with the Arts and Health Think Tank. And I don't want you to miss the Young Leaders Assembly on Monday, so make sure you do register. You can join us on the live for YouTube, but registering means you can join us here in the Zoom and and just kind of have a different energy. So the main in-person event will also be taking place from the 23rd to the 30th of November. We'd love to have you there with us, but if you can't, please keep an eye out on the social media, on YouTube. You'll catch up with some things there. And some of you are asking about where the schedules are. So all the schedules and the details are at www.gsahw.com, so you can register there as well. It's lovely to see you all, and I'm just going to see if, as we're coming to a close today, we can carry on this inspiration, but I'm going to invite some of you to turn your cameras on so that we can actually see this energy. And if that's something that you're able to do, we always like to see the faces. So let's have a look who's joined us today. And it was so amazing to see all the different countries that everybody joined from. Anyone else can put their cameras on? Okay. I'm waiting to see if Mr. Kunle is able, which he might do now. Okay, the recording stopped. If that feels better to put the cameras on, we can do that. Hi. So I'm going to hand it over to Kunle just to say the final words. I don't know if he's going to try and take a lovely picture of us all.
Yeah, I think I have nothing to say other than to say thank you to amazing hosts and for everyone that joined us today. We deeply appreciate you, and we can't wait to see you tomorrow. All right, now let's take a picture, and so that some of us can go eat goat pepper soup. Smile, Doris. It's good having Doris join us from the US today.
Is she joining still?
And having Rodney join us from the US. And some of our country festival directors are here. Amazing people, including Lucia from Argentina. Sorry, not Argentina, Brazil. Okay, I think I'm done taking picture. I think, I don't know if Corey, you want to share. Soul is here already too, but we've stopped recording already. But Soul, you can just give your own closing, just in alignment with what Trish have shared if you want to, and then we'll just close up for today already. Go ahead.
Sorry, can you repeat, Connie? I didn't understand.
Just give a closing remark alongside with what Trish have shared, and we'll just close.
Yes, it's amazing seeing this whole community and seeing how, as you say, one small action can move a lot of people and a lot of change makers together. I think we are really in a difficult time for the whole world, and difficult things are happening. So having this hope islands that can spread this joy of being together, building together, and making this eco community of people working with arts and health is so inspiring, and I'm really happy and touched about everything I heard today, and just hoping it to be more and more and more. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for being part of this beautiful process. A beautiful process has been birthed, and we hope that it goes on and on and on. You're all beautiful people, and have a beautiful night. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.